Well, good morning, good afternoon, and of course, good evening, traders from across the globe. Thank you for tuning in. Before I get started, I'm taking a bow for that insane call for the double top on Friday. Was that not fantastic? Go technical analysis. This video, thank you for tuning in, the 2870th edition of Short-Term Trading Live with Oscar comes at you on a Sunday night for trading Sunday through Monday. Of course, that's Feb 24th, 2025. Please remember how risky trading is. Risky. If you don't know that, you've never traded. I promise you, trading is risky. Put your stops in first. Never trade without protective stops. All right. We've got a red Omni for trading NASDAQ, but here's where we were on Friday. And the name of my video was, Thursday night, Double Tops Produce Market Drops, right? Name of the video. So here we are. This is what NASDAQ looked like. I said this is a double top. It might not hit, but it still remains valid. Not all double tops hit, which I showed you some examples in Thursday night's video for Friday, that you don't have to get exactly to the double top for it to be valid. And this is what happened. This was Friday's bar. Look at that massive break. Go technical analysis, right on the money. So, what else did we have? On top of that, we had this chart. And then take a look at this. E-mini S&P. I showed you this on Thursday night for Trading Friday as well, that we've already had a double top reaction, this whole piece right here, and it didn't quite hit. It didn't get there, but it still was valid. And we had a big pullback. So I use this as one of the examples that you don't have to actually get to the double top for it to remain valid. So we had a big double top reaction in your E-mini S&P as well. This is Friday's bar, big drop. So double tops, produce market drops was absolutely the right day, the right timing, and the right analysis for what was happening at the end of last week. Moving forward, we've got a red Omni for trading E-mini S&P NASDAQ Russell on Sunday night through Monday. We will sell the rallies if we can get a decent rally to get a fill in. What else started this whole thing? If I remember right, it was this guy. What do we do here? Yep, this began the whole thing. And if you remember, I showed this to everyone and I said, look, this is how it all began. The double top, it hit exactly at the double top, and we started to fall back. Then ES made its run up for the double top, missed, and started to fall back. Then NASDAQ finally made its run up for the double top. It missed, and now we had the big pullback. The rest of the markets were waiting for NASDAQ. NASDAQ showed us that it's real. Down we started to go. Fantastic analysis thus far. Now we've got to make money this week with this analysis. So, then we've got this. This was also, every chart you've seen was in the video on Thursday for Trading Friday. Then we move to here. Look at this one. Do you recall I put the Russell 2000 in front of you and I said this is a head and shoulders. The transportation has one too. And we've got the double top in NASDAQ, double top in Dow, double top in the ES. And this is where we sat on Friday or Thursday night coming into Friday. And this is what happened on Friday. Smash down, right? The analysis is working. This is turning out so far to be a head and shoulders. We also discussed in Thursday night's video the transportation average, if you recall. The Dow Jones Transportation Average. Now, here's where this one is a bit interesting. We've been calling this the leader, and it was the first one to put in the head and shoulders. It was the first one to start to fall back. And then we had something last week called the Oscarism known as the fake head test. That took the right shoulder up towards the head. It was a fake move, and boom, now we're starting to collapse. So the leader is doing its job. It put in the head and shoulders first. The other markets finally made double tops way afterwards. Now they're figuring it out. The leader has been a very, very good leader for this portion of the move. Now, One other chart I wanted to remind you about. This came up right after Trump got elected. We called this the Trump trade. What happened? Crude made a miserable failure right here, right around the Trump election. We called it the Trump trade. And here we are. Look back at this chart. It's a crude oil weekly bar chart. The other charts we looked at were daily bars. Each bar on the chart represents a day, but not on this one. This is every bar is 1 week, so it's called a weekly. Look at the failure here. Boom. Gets above the average, no good. Fails at the line. Tries to get above the average, no good. Fails at the line. Makes an attempt, no good. Gets above the average on the line, no good. Falls right back down. Our failure began. Our Trump trade started. The targets were put in place. The targets remain in place, 55, and then ultimately down to 47.50. Are your Trump trade targets for crude? Nothing goes straight down, but that is what we're looking at in the intermediate future for the price of crude oil. And if the price of crude does go that low, the opposite effect, it'll push the markets right back up, but that's the future for now. Crude's going lower, the market's going lower at the same time. That makes sense because of the price of crude, and we stopped lowering interest rates, which is almost as good as raising them because it stops the music, made the stock market start to go. Crude's gonna go. We got fundamentals behind it as well. So we're gonna come down a little bit. Not looking for a crash by any means in the indices, NASDAQ, Russell, S&P, but we are looking for a little bit of a pullback maybe we call that a market correction, or even better, a price adjustment. But that's not crude. Crude has its own factors, and crude will make the mark I told you about at some point down here. So that's the future. Traders, I hope this helps. It's only the first video this week. We got a lot to cover. Make sure you're around. Please subscribe to my videos. Do that now. Like and share them. And then come to livewithoscar.com. It's free. Join me in my live free trading room. I hope to see you there. And remember, stops are emotions are out. Rock and roll, traders. Thank you so much for tuning in. Put those stops in first, and I will see you all at livewithoscar.com.